Hello everyone, in the lecture number 29.3. So we have discussed till habeas corpus and mandamus. Now in this lecture we are going to understand what is the writ of prohibition. Okay, writ of prohibition. What is this writ of prohibition? Now this writ tells that it tells like we have discussed like this habeas corpus was like show body. This mandamus was that we command. It means that like we command, that Supreme Court command or High Court command related to any authority related stuff. Now this writ prohibition, it tells to prohibit. It tells to prohibit. What is that? We'll see. This can be only used against. This can be only used against judicial or quasi-judicial body. Judicial or quasi-judicial body. Okay. Once it is exceeding, it is hampering my fundamental right, Supreme Court will issue prohibition. When it is found that anything that is going to hampers anyone fundamental right, Supreme Court will issue prohibition. Supreme Court will issue prohibition. Let me try to understand with an example. Let us suppose Central Administration Tribunal is looking into my case of my asset. I have in disproportion to my source of income. Like I have an asset which is more than my source of income. So Central Administrative Tribunal has to give its verdict. Now Central Administrative Tribunal is investigating my case and they added one more charge of sexual assault. Like I was, whatever the case was related to that I have a asset which is greater than the source of income. So now this quasi-judicial this Central Administrative Tribunal has added one more case, sexual assault, which is completely illegal, which is completely, that was not connected with my case and all. So now, and they refuses to, after that, when they have charged me on the sexual assault also, when they have added the sexual assault also, they are not ready to hear me also. Like I will also be surprised, right? They are not ready to hear. So I will also be surprised that my case was going through the asset and source of income related mismatch discrepancies, and now they are adding sexual assault also on me. So I have total right, like I have to question like how this thing is been added into my case, and how is this connected, and from where you have found this thing, what is the evidence of it that you have putting a charge of sexual assault on me. So now I will file that they are not hearing also. Then now I will file a petition. I will file a petition under prohibition to Supreme Court. Now I will file a writ petition that is prohibition to Supreme Court. This quasi-judicial body, this one Central Administrative Tribunal, this is exceeding its judicial body, and even he is ex parte me, like he is not hearing me, it is creating discrimination against me. Thus my fundamental right is violated, and Supreme Court will issue the writ of prohibition, and it will transfer the body to one body to another appropriate court. So then Supreme Court will then have a right to transfer my case to another judicial body. So this writ prohibition is to prohibit me from any act of judicial or quasi-judicial body. There are many bodies that have a power related to judgment and all. Okay, on that case, this writ can be issued, and this will be issued by the Supreme Court. And one more thing, related any fundament violation, if my fundament right is violated, I can directly reach to the Supreme Court. I have a right for that. Okay, so this is something that is called under the writ of prohibition. Let us take let me give a theory that I have present in my hand currently. So the writ of prohibition is a writ issued by the Supreme Court or a High Court to an inferior court, forbidding the latter to continue proceeding therein excess if its jurisdiction, or to usurp a jurisdiction with which it is not legally vested. Simple means, if any judicial body is exceeding its boundary, and it is prohibiting my fundamental right, and it is taking away my fundamental right, so in that case writ petition can be filed. Okay, and this can be only against the judicial or quasi-judicial body. Now, what is writ of certiorari? Okay, writ of certiorari. This writ of certiorari tells that, let us suppose, if that judicial body or quasi-judicial, let us, that I have said in the previous example that I have said, like a central administrative tribunal, let us suppose if that kind of quasi-judicial body has already given the judgment, the Supreme Court will issue certiorari and the judgment will be nullified or quashed. Okay, so let us suppose, before I have filed a prohibition against the this central administrative tribunal, that they are exceeding its boundary and they are not hearing me, they are violating my fundamental right, and they are adding irrelevant charges on me, and I filed a writ of prohibition to the Supreme Court. Let us suppose a date of hearing of my writ is little bit longer, and within that period, in very urgency or in very fast manner, this central administrative tribunal passed a judgment also. They passed a judgment also that this person should be in jail, and he is found guilty and all. Okay, now here I was not heard completely. This was against my fundamental right. This was going against something against the rule. So now in that case, Supreme Court, then in that case, if a judgment is given, it was whatever this writ of petition will writ of prohibition will be filed before giving the judgment. it is beneficial before giving the judgment. If, let us suppose, this quasi-judicial has given the judgment, now this writ of prohibition will not be required to be filed. Now certiorari will be come into play, and certiorari will be that Supreme Court will nullify whatever the judgment has been given by the this quasi-judicial body, that will be become nullified or quashed. Okay, so if that judicial body, what is the writ of certiorari? If that judiciary body or quasi-judicial body has already given the judgment, Supreme Court will issue the certiorari and the judgment will be nullified or quashed. Okay, so prohibition, this writ of prohibition is given when case is in pending status. This writ of prohibition is given when case is in pending status, when this case is in pending status. Okay, and this certiorari, this and the certiorari is issued when the verdict is given. So that is the difference between prohibition and certiorari, and both deals with the quasi-judicial or judiciary body. Okay, understand? And in both the cases, this prohibition and certiorari, locus standi concept will be applied. It means that person who has been charged against is, that person has to be present there, and that person has to itself complain, the person has to make a complaint. Okay, so whatever we have seen in mandamus also, in certiorari also, in prohibition also, the person locus standi will apply. That person himself has to be apply, the person or whatever the body is there, that body must have to be filed the case by that body itself, whether it is a person or any organization. Okay, in the case of habeas corpus, this locus standi does not apply. Okay, I guess now this concept is pretty much clear. I don't think you have any doubt on that. Okay, so uh, let me reiterate everything. Um, though the prohibition and certiorari are both issued against the court or tribunal exercising judicial or quasi-judicial power, certiorari is used to quash order or decision of the court or tribunal, while prohibition is issued to prohibit the court or tribunal from making any ultra vires order or decision. Prohibition is available during the pendency of the proceeding, and before order is made. Certiorari can be issued only after the order has been made. Okay, so that is the difference between prohibition and certiorari. Okay, now we'll see quo warranto also. Okay, what is that quo warranto? Okay, or let me pick this quo warranto in the next lecture, because we'll discuss article 33 and 34 also there. Okay, so this was all about in this lecture. Please put your comment if you have any doubts and all. Please connect with me on social media handle if you have any doubt, and please feel free to subscribe and like if you have really liked it, and we are new channel, we really need your support. Thank you.